Just FYI, we are live on YouTube right now and the mic is very sensitive, so just so you know.
I really should go to the doctor and find out what subscription I should visualize on, because I've just got 102 plus. Yeah, I have no idea what I should be having. I've never had glasses, but the last.
So it's 9%. It's over.
I like.
Just me have that read
And she's like, text. I'm like, no, it's not that. I couldn't.
There's still people.
Two more coming.
Probably gonna be hot in like 5 minutes, but I'm like,
I never know what to wear.
we got cookies. I got cookies for the rest of us, so do.
Well, Cal made.
You mentioned that you were hungry and then I was like looking in my vehicle, I'm like,
He decided at 7:30 he needed to make cookies.
sounds like Sophia.
Freeze almost here.
I don't make cookies, but I did go to the bread store and buy cookies. They have the best cookies.
Yeah.
Well, I eat gluten, so
Oh.
that's what's nice. We only have, well, I do have regular flour, but we don't usually ever bake with it. It's usually just gluten free, so. I just had cookies. She made some for, with Patricia's graduation party, but. But that's the problem with bakeries and stuff. It's like, cinnamon rolls, man, I would love a cinnamon roll. And I'm sure I could attempt to make one. I just, I don't know, I bake a lot, but I've never attempted cinnamon
I've
rolls.
naturally been just eating less.
Sign in. Thank you.
Lower carbs. Now it's like.
Oh, I just make me sleepy
They're
tomorrow.
good.
Yeah,
It just says.
well, it's fun too when your kids are doing them.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have that one.
Oh, I haven't learned, but
Now
now
I'm
I
back.
I was in right away.
My internet is
I
terrible.
did it on my office right away. So I wouldn't have to worry about it. So I can remember my password, so I have to make sure I have it.
okay, I think I did that wrong. This is so weird that it's like a dog.
Everything.
I mean, it transferred a lot over and thank goodness, like people say a lot of times. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna log into this and I have no idea what it is. And
It's.
6 hours.
Did you break them or were you planning on buying anyone? I hate getting new phones.
So do I. I mean, we got new phones. Because we got new boys phones,
Oh,
because they're living in the house.
yeah,
more.
yeah. Dang it, don't tell me that.
I know.
I keep trying to not get
I know,
my
I
highest
did-
one. Like,
I
okay,
did-
you're gonna go meet with your friend who has a phone. Call me after.
I didn't want to, but it really seemed like the most.
Yes, risk.
Great
Am I
option for the
yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
And so they got new plans, but then they set them up and they put the wrong numbers on the wrong phones. And the guys was trying, everyone was so helpful, but it took a lot of.
They would say it's so easy.
No, and we told the boys, like, you have to come with because you have to understand this is a. And they did. Thought it was great because they played on all the tablets. It was like a 3 arcade.
That wasn't the lesson they were supposed to get.
They have to pay $2 a month. Towards their phones.
That's fair.
But they get a spending.
Sorry.
Hey,
So they say, we need to pay you. I'm not always helpful about getting it to them first. But I told them, hey. I don't check.
Alright.
They do, they cash their own checks when they get them. I make them fill out their own deposit slips.
Okay.
Kelly's like,
No, I think they choose baseball. I think both of them, baseball, Eric and Kelly. I think it's high school first round playoffs. And Sophia's got a game at 5:30 if we can move this round. I still,
Alright,
both will make it.
so it's 5:03. I'm gonna call the regular school board monthly meeting for May 27th to order. At this time, I ask you all to please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, a little cookie from allergies. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Polly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Special appearances, student achievements, Ryan Karsten.
Me and myself, because baseball's going on, track's going on, half of them are seniors and gone out of the building, so I will
They're
give you an
not
update
combat.
for our winter sports and.
You come up here, Ryan.
I surely.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And the public can see you.
They can surely hear me online. So here I have the winter sports all conference and what has been concluded for the spring all conference. For wrestling this year, we had 6 people receive all conference. Colton Wiltrout was an honorable mention at 106. Joe DeJock was honorable mention at 144. Blake Knoll was honorable mention at 175. Brooklyn DeJock was honorable mention at 132. Mulaney Smith was honorable mention at 165. And Izzy Savage was conference champion at 235. She also qualified for state.
That's
For girls basketball, Emma Peterson was first team all conference and player of the year. She was all state honorable mention. Kirsten Ustagoff was second team all conference and Hannah Reitman was honorable mention. For our boys basketball team, Gannon Reynolds received a second team all conference. For hockey, we are not in a hockey conference, so there are no all conference awards for hockey. So far for spring sports, track, all conference was last week. Second place all conference was Olivia Shetler in the 100 hurdles and Paul Reitman in the 300 hurdles. And the 4x2 relay was honorable mention. That was Olivia Shetler, Evie Leitner, Lucy Peterson, and Annabelle Benson. They are currently running at the WIA regionals in Webster right now. Softball, we had 1 player received honorable mention. That was Taylor Winberg. And the softball all conference meeting is tomorrow, or excuse me, the baseball all conference meeting is tomorrow night.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, yeah, most of those are either seniors and are long gone or currently playing sports because our baseball, it's not regionals, it's last regular season.
Oh, regular.
Regionals start on
Thursday?
Thursday
Okay.
in Flint.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Well, even though they aren't here.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. All right, moving on to accepting donations. Moms for Kids. Or More for Kids, sorry.
That's okay.
Did you want to speak on this one, Becky, or can I just go ahead and read it? They donated over 100 new books valued at $2,327 to the Siren School Library using funds from the February Scholastic Book Fair. And I would love to make the motion to approve this donation.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by myself, seconded by Katie. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And just to make everyone aware, they are gonna have free summer fun activities. So keep a lookout for those. They're being sponsored by nonprofits, area businesses, and organizations. So thanks again, More for Kids, always appreciated. That is fantastic. Thank you. And moving on, just in this vein, we did receive a card recently from Earth Energy, thanking the school district for choosing them for their services. So, thank
Nice.
you. Yeah,
Sorry, who was that?
Earth Energy. Comments from the public. Do we have any comments this evening? Okay. Moving on, treasurer's report. You have anything to say on this, Laura?
Spending less. Another school year. So I'm quite put that this way. As far as the dashboard, I actually thought about that this weekend, so now I gotta sit on.
So, what are we currently short-term borrowing?
I wanna say it's around 9. End of April.
Can you speak up?
It's, she said 900 near the end of April. Thousand, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. And, when are we looking at our next potential payment coming in? Do you know?
We should get an aid payment mid-June, it's like 17. 16 somewhere.
Well, the sooner the better.
And
So-
then I do have a meeting with Marquez this week to start going through the budget.
Okay. Good, the sooner we can get on top of the budget, I think the better off we're gonna be. I think everyone can agree with that. So looking for a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second,
A motion by Jamie, seconded by Polly. All those in favor? Aye. Moving on, president's report, correspondence. All I have to say is graduation was awesome. Really proud of all those kids. Always a great event. And just a reminder, we also have the alternative graduation tomorrow night. And it's good to see students making their way however they need to, getting those diplomas, so. Report, superintendent.
This is the latest communique I got from the School Administrators Alliance. And one of the talking points that I don't know if we had talked about this before, if you heard this, they were looking at increasing special education categorical aid to 60% reimbursement rate. But now there's talk of going to high cost special education aid versus that, which would be lesser to districts. So that's still the main talking point. They're trying to restructure that, going back to, rather than funding the entire special education at 60%, they want to go to special high cost aid. That's still a discussion point, but it looks to me like, it seems like it's a way to give districts less in that area. So, this wasn't significant publication, so I don't know exactly what's happening right now, but as I continue to get these, I'll share them.
So not necessarily news we want to hear, but also not a finalized
No,
decision anyways, so.
There's so much going on in the Capitol, like this was a new. That was not talked about before, the high cost, but now that's a piece of the puzzle.
I mean, the one upside of the article is mentioning the 4.3
Yeah.
surplus
Plus.
budget, which would be great if they could direct some of that towards the schools, but how? Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right. Reports from the principals, Mrs. Herman.
I just wanted to give a bunch of shout outs. Beth Peterson and Bryn Anderson for the absolutely wonderful spring concert last week. I think the incorporation of all the instruments was so fun and the kids were smiling the whole time and really just seemed to be having a great time with it. So a huge kudos to them. Becky Wicklund and Danielle Formanak were reading specialists and interventionists for navigating and leading the elementary through Act 20. They have done a ton of work. They've created parent communications. They've worked with me on policies. It's not an easy task, especially when the state is switching gears continuously on us. So they've done a phenomenal job working through all those pieces and working our staff through it. And then just all staff for a fantastic year and all the hard work educating students while building solid relationships with students and families. We have a tremendous staff and it shows in everything that they do. So very proud of everything and everyone this year.
Thank you, Mrs. Herman. Moving on, Ms. Campbell.
So we are wrapping up the end of the year, middle high school, middle schoolers have plans to go to the park. You can have a movie in the afternoon for kind of a fun day on the last day. And then high school is trying something new this year, so we will run a skinny schedule through lunch. So they will go to each of their classes for a shorter period of time, and then we will have like a little mini field day for the last couple of hours outside on the field, some games, and we're trying to put together some tournament style bags, boards, things like that. Just something fun for them to look forward to for the last day. We did have a wonderful graduation and we are ecstatic that we have reached 100% graduation rate this year. So all of our kids made it, either regular or alternative diplomas. And that ceremony is tomorrow night, 6 to 7 in the auditorium. Last year, Tom and Jamie, you guys were on stage with us, handing out diplomas for that as well. So I'm not sure if that's something you guys are interested in doing again, or if someone else is interested in joining us on stage for that.
What time is it again?
It starts at 6.
Okay, I would love to do it. I don't know if I can do it. Is there anyone that wants to do it other than myself? Yes.
I can try, I just don't know.
And Tara and John
No, I
and
don't
Kevin and
think
I
I
will
will
all
make
be
tonight.
there, so I mean,
Yeah, if you can't make it,
if you.
Okay,
can't make
I'll try to.
it,
I'll message you tomorrow. Let me just double check some stuff.
Okay,
Or if Paul, if you, or you know.
Is
if
it
anybody-
tomorrow night?
Yeah,
I'm doing the retirement party tomorrow, so I'm gonna say no.
okay.
I
can check.
okay, I will plan to be there just in case. If
Yeah,
I
we can
make
send
it,
a message,
otherwise
yeah.
I'll message and
Correct.
let people know.
I had a quick question, just it made me think of something when you're talking about setting up the funding. Do we have student council? Do we have grade student council? Okay, there was something else with that. It's probably for another discussion, but okay. I didn't know if like they help organize some of this stuff
They do some things, but not this.
Okay. or class president, and then is that separate class presidents and stuff?
Yeah, that's for the grade level.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just, one of those two, I felt like I'd asked one of the kids at some point and they're like, we don't have that, but I don't remember which kid and if it was even one of mine. So it was just,
I know student council last year was,
Last year we did.
we did not. have-
okay, so maybe it wasn't, that's, yeah,
We do have-
okay.
We
Okay.
did not have.
So maybe that was, and again, I don't know if it was the, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, anything else, Jamie?
I want to recognize the staff and students involved with the Memorial Day program yesterday. It was excellent. It always is. Krista did a great job emceeing or
whatever, narrating the program. John did a great job with the speech and the students who did their speeches were amazing. Band and choir were great and it's always a really good event here. So thank you all.
Thank you, Polly. Special education director.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. It's been kind of a busy spring. We've had a whole bunch of new evaluations. We have paperwork for 7 that we are finishing up right now. Trying to get stuff done for the end of the year. I have graduation paperwork we're working on for 4 students that graduated or will graduate. And trying to figure out who's going where as far as our caseloads for next year. You can see I've provided you with the numbers right now at each of the levels, as well as our speech students. Subject to change because we do still have another few referrals that we're finishing up, so kind of a ballpark figure. I'll have more solid numbers in June.
When you list the special ed kids that are, when you list speech separate from the other kids, are they included in, because it was like 26 and then 17, are they included in the 26?
The related services are students receiving those services that have qualified under different disciplines.
So the total is still the 26, 26 plus 17. I just wanted that clarified for people that might not know that.
Well, and speech isn't just elementary. So speech
No,
is
it's-
17 total throughout all of our schools. So you'd have to take the 70 some.
Right.
Need services for. They have something else too.
Correct.
Yes.
They may have a different disability and speech is down speech as well. Yeah.
Are your projected numbers up or down and by how much?
I think by the time we're all said and done, I think our numbers are on the increase. But I will have more solid numbers for you in June, once we get all the referrals and stuff finalized. And I've heard some rumblings about people that are moving out of the district, so I should have more information in June. But it does look like numbers will be up.
Okay, then
Where we started.
And our 504 included in those numbers or not?
504s are not included in this number. That is not a special education.
I understand that. Where, how many 504 kids do we have?
We have 19 as of right now. Some,
Thank
and
you.
then, there's probably 1 or 2 more that we'll have by the end of before school starts. So we're right in that range, right around 20.
And hopefully we'll have some ideas in regards to our staffing situation. Because if our numbers are up, I would hope our want for staff to be increasing to make up for those numbers as well. Because feels like we get stretched pretty thin around here. So. Anything else? Okay.
That's all I've got.
All right. Indian education report.
So as Jamie said, 100% graduation. I was trying to remember, we've had quite a few years of 100%, but I don't have that right off the top of my head. Since at the committee meeting, we were talking about percentages, I did a bunch of percentaging. So we had 10 kids with regular diploma, so that was 35% of the graduating class. And then we have 1 student getting the ADP diploma tomorrow, so that would be 25% of them. So we're right within, our thresholds. Tribal graduation banquet, we had 49 students there or students recognized from 22 different high schools. I thought that was pretty cool. And Siren was 22% of all of those high school graduates. So I mean, we were there to represent for the biggest,
Almost a quarter.
biggest group that goes. And then we had, in addition to that,
they are recognizing college graduates as well. So there was 35 students from 11 different colleges and universities. And I love it that our high school graduates get to see that, get to see their community members from all over the world. It was really cool to see. And then I know last meeting, there was questions about summer programming. So I am not in charge of summer programming. I passed that off to the tribal education department. And they're doing the YES program, summer canoe adventures, Trails Youth and Family Camp, and contact Laura or Janine at the tribal education building for that. That's all I got.
Just out of curiosity, do you know of the 35 university graduates or college graduates? How many of them attended Siren, if any?
That's a great question. And I could probably tell you tomorrow because I have the flyer on my desk.
Because that'd be a great number to have as well. If
Yeah,
you're
that'd be
presenting.
really cool to know.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
okay. Anything else for Tara? So, yeah, let's get those summer programs posted and talked about, because, yeah. Moving on. The approval of the minutes. So first, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the Buildings, Grounds and Transportation Committee meeting minutes of 4/10/2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Katie, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor? Aye.
Abstention.
Okay. One abstaining. Any opposed? Looking for approval of the minutes regarding Budget, Finance and Personnel Committee for 4/14/2025.
I'll make a motion, but I have a comment or two.
Okay. Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Jamie, seconded by Polly. What's the discussion?
I was just reading it over and there was a couple of things that I thought were supposed to be brought back this month that I don't recall being brought back. One was the snack account. Talked about the lunch account on letter D establishment. And then like just talking about the fruit. I don't know, it just bring it back to May budget meeting. Laura, activity account, she'll have to do some research and maybe, I don't know, did we bring it back?
Yeah.
Or maybe just June, just to make sure we're following through with, maybe, I mean, if you don't have it now or just.
I don't have any answer. So I would set up a activity. So I have to have you guys approve and account for that,
Okay,
and then.
so is this like something where, again, like the new lunch one, we're looking at like a fund, like not even just, what am I trying to say? Donation money that's going into.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was just wondering if we had a follow-up to the youth sports coordinator. Again, that was a comment that said we'd talk about it and I haven't heard anything.
I did do some additional research, including writing up a job description for this, different tasks that they could fulfill. The programming that Q uses, in some cases, the Q coordinator is full-time because they are the youth sports and summer school coordinator. Now, our Q coordinator is not interested in doing that. But we had talked about, we had thrown some numbers around that might be the right amount to compensate this person. And my thought was if Q is between us and Webster, maybe Webster would be interested in also putting in a dollar amount and possibly the person could coordinate for both schools for the youth stuff. I reached out to their school board representative on Q. I'm that representative here, and I never received a message back, unfortunately. And I couldn't go to the Q meeting where the question would be posed to the rest of that board group. But Becky had said it would be no problem to handle registrations through the website, and she would be able to like put that information in, but she doesn't want to be the person that's like, I've got to find the coaches and schedule the schedules and the practices and take parent calls and that type of thing.
Becky's our Q coordinator.
She is the person that's hired to do that through that Fund 80. And the other thing she wanted to make sure was how we would handle the person getting in and out of the school. Because right now she has to be here for any Q class that doesn't have an approved person. So that was a question that she brought up. So right now I feel like it's kind of dead in the water until I can get back, like get someone from Webster to talk to me about what they potentially think about it.
Yeah, I don't think since they have the issue, I don't see them wanting to combine, but I mean, you don't know until you talk to them.
Doesn't Webster have somebody that does it?
Well, they have their booster club and stuff, so they maybe have
I
a
thought
better
Dylan said that
established.
Webster did.
I
have
don't
somebody.
remember them being in the email.
Luck and Frederick both did, I know
Yeah.
for sure. Those
Okay,
two I
yeah.
reached out to and worked with them in terms of how they compensate through Fund 80. We certainly could do it.
Yes.
It's just finding someone, I don't even think, is Dylan the one that presented?
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's even
No,
interested
he's not.
in doing it.
No.
But that's where I thought if we could get two schools involved and we could get more money for that person. I don't, I mean-
The person has to work with two schools.
well, they have to work with two schools, but we already play against each other for some stuff. So, I mean, in all
Or
the
co-ops
sports.
in another sport.
So I was like, well, maybe that wouldn't be too much of an extra load. I mean, you're dealing with the same schools of mixing the people up to schedule the games, so I don't know. So it's out there. I have the positioning here of what it would include, so there'd be a job description starting point when and if we potentially get to that.
Okay, is this something you,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, are we gonna maybe just bring it to the next, like, committee of the whole next month? Are you gonna kind of try to get more information and then?
Well, we
wait?
can, like I said, I haven't heard back from Webster School Board at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
What about
bring,
Grantsburg?
Reach out to them too. I mean, it's just, we don't share Q with them, so it's the
Okay.
funding, that would be the easiest way payroll wise.
Gotcha.
It would just be under that.
Makes sense.
yeah, let's make sure for the meeting of the whole coming up that we put the athletic or the youth activities coordinator and the snack donation budget on there to talk about for the agenda, please.
Yeah, we had the youth stuff on the radar, it's just we hadn't heard back, so we had the money, we're planning, we could actually do it, we just
Okay.
don't.
Yeah, I missed that budget and then,
Right,
Let's-
and I still have to get to the Q group to see if they would, because they would be the prop, right, we talked about who would be the supervisor of the person, and it wouldn't be anyone here because it's not a school piece, it's the community piece, so the Q board would be that person's supervisor. So I've got to get the Q board to agree that we would use their funding to do this position as well, that they're okay with that. And like I said, other school districts utilize that person's position to do the same thing. So it's not out of the realm of normalness for them.
thank you, Katie. Yep, that was it.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Jamie, seconded by Polly to approve the Budget, Finance and Personnel Committee meeting minutes for 4/14/2025. All those in favor? Aye.
I'm abstaining again just because I wasn't at those meetings in April.
Should you second it though?
Yeah, that's fine. I just am not voting.
Okay.
One
Gotcha.
abstention, any nays? Okay. Next, looking for approval of the Policy Planning and Curriculum Committee meeting minutes of 4/16/2025.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. Also have a comment.
Do you have a motion? Do we have a second? Okay, comments?
I didn't hear if so on an F, the hiring protocol, I had requested or asked about adding the sports onto the weekend, and in this, it states that Lisa was gonna update us. Lisa said she did, I don't recall when she did it at the regular meeting, so I just wanted all the board members to know that we can, without adding more costs, what is it, Lisa, maybe you can explain this better. That our weekend application, it allows for us to post coaching positions on weekend along with our other postings, our paraprofessionals and our teaching postings. So I just want to make sure all the board members were aware of that.
All right, any other comments?
My question is, do you think that would increase applicants?
I would hope
as
so. I
far as,
don't know.
Like for teaching positions, if they knew there were coaching opportunities as well, or?
Well,
I mean, sometimes they put under the coaching, along with the coaching that would have that opening, but we can just advertise it in itself
Okay.
as a coach.
Yeah,
I mean, I would hope, so. I just feel like since we already have that account
Yeah, right.
available, like, let's utilize it. I feel like the more we can get it out there, especially if it's not adding to our costs,
Sure.
why not? I don't know.
I think it was just a different category. We weren't aware of. It was
Yeah.
under the-
Yeah, that's what was gonna be looked into,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we got an answer, and I'm glad it's not costing us anymore to be able to do that, so.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, I have a motion by Jamie, seconded by Corey to approve the policy planning and curriculum committee meeting minutes for 4/16/2025. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining?
Yep.
One abstaining.
I'll be the last one.
All right. The next one is the regular school board meeting minutes of 4/28.
Make a motion to approve the regular school board meeting minutes from April 28th. I also have a comment.
Anyone want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, I also have a comment on this as well for a point of clarification.
And that's we maybe have the same one. Can I go?
Go ahead.
When we did the nominations for president, I believe because we had two, it was actually a vote. And that Laura read off to have Tom. Because we voted twice for two different things, and I believe one was for Corey and Jesse. The second one was between Tom and Katie for president.
Mhm.
And that doesn't state that in our notes. Or meeting minutes.
And then, I would like a point of clarification done to that meeting as far as the vote between Corey and Jesse. And like, the board members who, voted in that to basically say who they voted for as a point of clarification for the public record. But we don't have all the board here tonight. So I'd like to ask if it's possible that we could even do this.
Yeah, that was something I had brought up, that I don't think that was supposed to be a ballot vote. It should have been a voice or show of hands.
Well, the thing is, it went with our current policy at the time. So that's why technically it was okay, but at the same time, we should clarify it.
The ballot.
So,
State law, actually. That one.
so I would like to clarify it if possible, but I don't know if we have the two people that voted for Jesse here tonight or not. Cause that would make it easy to figure out the other
Well,
ones.
we can just do what we have here and then
Yeah,
we should know, right?
you would think we're missing two members, but. So,
I voted for Corey.
okay,
I voted for Jesse.
Who was it? Was it Katie?
yep,
I voted for Corey.
and I voted for Corey,
So Kelly and Eric were split.
yep.
Holly and Tom and Jamie all voted for Corey.
Correct.
Sorry, it went a little too fast for me to get down. I need it repeated, I'm sorry.
So Polly, Jamie, and myself voted for Corey.
Perfect.
Katie voted for Jesse. And unfortunately, we don't know which,
So we still need to know.
yeah, we still need to find out Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, that being said, there's no other comment.
I just want a clarification. When we get to do we approve closed session minutes in closed session meetings? Or do we approve them as a part of this? Because when we came back into open session, which we really technically didn't, but we approved the retirement, the resignation, those things. But there's no mention under that of the 5th grade position that action was taken on. So my understanding is anytime there's a motion made, seconded and voted on, that is action. Right?
We typically do have closed session minutes that we record. And I mean, I approve them separately after the meeting and then typically, because they're separate. So I don't know if we normally bring the do we normally bring the close back to the?
So the closed session, everything that was on that agenda, with one exception, on the 28th is listed. But the one, which was the 5th grade teaching position, it just disappeared. It's not
Did we
there.
take action?
We did.
And the action was not done?
Because we took action because it's on the minutes from that closed session meeting. That
Typically, we go out in public and take action on what's been discussed and closed. unless-
right, and that's what we did.
If there's names and things associated, but often when there's not a name or anything associated with it.
There wasn't a name. And therefore, there was a motion made by Katie, seconded by Corey. And passed 5-2, but that isn't reflected in these minutes.
If you want me to pause, I can go bring them up but I'm assuming that it was a motion that stayed enclosed, so. Do you want me to go look or just get back to you?
I have the minutes right here if you want to see. I have the closed session minutes.
The ones from board docs?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to see those?
No, I just didn't know if you needed me to go.
Oh, no, I did because it kind of disappeared and there was quite a lengthy discussion on it. So.
Discussion didn't come up.
No, but the vote would. We took action because
Yeah,
there was a
typically
lot
we
of
do vote
discussion.
open.
I must have been told to leave it enclosed or I would have brought it to open. So.
Do you want to make a correction to put it in open?
Yes, we do. I mean, legally, there was a motion, second and vote, so I believe it needs to be. And no names were attached to it.
I guess that would have been the issue. And I don't remember if we were discussing any names on that or not.
We were not.
I lean on you guys to tell me, you'll say we'll do this in open or we'll do this in closed. So that's what I do.
Okay, and nobody said anything either way, and that was my very first meeting. So I didn't know, but I did thoroughly review our minutes and was like, wait a minute, I know that there was a vote on this, so. And that was the 5th grade teaching position.
That's correct.
Can you guys add that? What would you like added to the
Yeah,
minutes?
can you
so
read
that-
I would, yeah.
What-
In the other minutes, it states, motion made by Katie Tewell, seconded by Cory Bauer to approve only one 5th grade teacher for the 2025-26 school year, as numbers are very low. It passed 5-2.
I'll just pull
And
it
is that
from
Kate?
where you pulled it from
Okay.
and I'll add it to the regular minutes.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay,
Have clarification why things like that are even enclosed? Why would that be enclosed?
Because
Okay.
if there isn't names attached, it's not like a contract situation.
And
Correct.
public wise, that's been a huge issue. It's not.
all right, so,
I will say that I brought up that very concern last week at our committee of the whole meeting, that I felt like too many things were going in closed session that shouldn't. And I think that damages our community's perception related to transparency, and that was why I brought that up. And I still believe that when there isn't a name and it's not disciplinary in nature, that we should be doing those things in open session.
okay, so as it stands now, we have a motion that's seconded on at this time. I'd like to make the amendments of the following. at first, as we'll go in chronological order through the minutes, that it be cited who voted for who in regards to Jesse and Corey within the minutes. In fact, if we have to find out from Kelly and Eric to correct it, then we would do so. Also that it be amended that the vote for president was done by ballot, as Jamie said. And then that the vote regarding the 5th grade dropping down to 1 teacher for next year become part of the open minutes and not just the closed minutes. Do I have a second for this amendment?
Second.
Got a motion by myself, seconded by Corey. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion going forth to the regular board, or approval of the regular school board meeting minutes with the aforementioned amendment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Special board meeting minutes for 5/5/25. Looking for a motion to approve these.
I will make a motion, but I also have an item on that was not included.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Polly, seconded by Jamie. What would you like to discuss, Polly?
The discussion of the budget and staff salary wage schedule. Again, there was a motion made by Corey, seconded by myself, to not put forth a pay and freeze for the 25-26 school year. That passed on a 5-1 and was not included. Again, there were no names attached. And I feel that that should have been an open session issue.
Something, hold on.
So it was not pertaining to any individual.
In that case, there wasn't actually a change in anything though. Salary schedule didn't change. So there was nothing that was modified from that.
Our recommendation was put forth. That was, a motion was made, seconded and voted on.
Yeah, and we can put it certainly in open, but there was no change in the salary schedule. I don't know if that was.
No,
correct.
there, no, it was to leave it.
Yes.
Judging by the stipulations for a closed session. Yes, I would agree. We can move that into open as well. So we have any other discussion in regards to this?
I just want to make a comment, and I know these are fine, and I'm just a little bit concerned when we're in an open meeting right now and we're busting out stuff that we talked about in closed. Like, I'm not disagreeing with what you're bringing up. It just makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, what if we start bringing up stuff that shouldn't be brought up in an open meeting?
There are specific reasons for closed session.
Right.
I would not have brought it up if it fell under those categories.
I just get a little bit nervous here,
I understand.
re-going stuff that we discussed, and, cause I mean, it's hard, sometimes you gotta sit and be like, when did we discuss that? Was that in open? Was that in closed? What can I
agree.
share?
And it shouldn't be that hard if we keep focused on the reason that we're in closed session. Then it makes it a whole lot easier to remember
Well,
where it was.
there's a
we just-
difference between the discussion and the action.
Mhm.
So
If that had been a
we're just
discussion with
talking
no
about the action.
Right,
So it,
We're talking about the action,
right?
yes.
So,
And are we just too broadly considering employment, promotion, compensation of any public employee? I mean, are we just being too broad
A
in
little bit, yeah.
when we're talking
Yeah.
about these things?
yes,
Okay.
so.
Something that would need to keep private.
So I'm looking for an amendment to, or a motion to amend the minutes to reflect the vote taken in close to be brought into open.
I'll make that motion.
Looking for a second.
Second,
We've got a motion by Corey, seconded by Polly to move the vote regarding the pay salary schedule into open from closed. All those in favor? Aye.
aye.
Opposed? And now we have a motion from Polly, seconded by Jamie, with the aforementioned amendment of the approval of the special board meeting minutes for 5/5/2025. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. All right. On to new business. Playground equipment.
So I got back, I got the information that I hope that you had requested. I don't know, that's all I could get in terms of what should happen, you know, and also in relation to our policy. So you see there's a waiver. I mean, if you guys want to make a decision on how you want to handle this in terms of, I know you see Grantsburg went and auctioned theirs. But it, once again, then our liability carrier said we could use a waiver. I think they recommended that the contractor maybe take the equipment out.
Yes, that's what I was
thinking.
And I haven't heard back from Chase to find out any more details from him. He is out of the office right now.
So
But
I think we have
yeah.
options.
so we just have to decide
Yeah.
what we want to do. And I don't have the answer if the contractor could take it out for us or is thinking they get any financial impact of scrapping it. So I don't have the answers to that, but however, anyone else would like to move forward.
May I make a comment just regarding the Dragon out there? Moms for Kids was the one that donated that several years ago, well, lots of years ago, 20 some years ago. Anyway, and I did comment during one of the public playground committee meetings that if that were to be removed, we would like that for us to donate it somewhere else.
Yeah, and that was the one piece of equipment that we talked about them removing and re-putting in.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that
Yep.
it was on record that if you don't just melt it into bits or.
What if,
Right.
Becky, what if when it gets teared out, it gets damaged, unfortunately?
Huh?
What if it gets damaged when it gets taken out? Cause we don't know how far, like
I
Katie's,
think that, honestly, I'm pretty sure like Don and the construction or the building
Maintenance?
people put it in,
They
so
did.
yeah, pretty in that good.
No,
okay.
Sorry, sorry that that's on the record, but. I mean, it wasn't professionally put in by a playground people.
Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there because we're not
No.
sure. Like, that's where our concern, Katie's brought up, like, we don't know how stuff's gonna come out,
Yeah.
you know, and obviously I would love to see it reused, but you know, don't want to tell someone, oh, we have the swing set for you. And then it comes out when it's in 18 pieces.
Well, and I don't think you would put anything up for bid or auction or anything until you see how it comes out.
Yeah, so
You know?
we just have to decide if we want to try to make things available and is there a preference that our contractor tries to remove them or we allow people in to try to remove them?
I think like we discussed, this, the way to do it would be having the contractor do it.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah,
I feel like it's a liability nightmare if we have 50 people flocking to try and take a swing down
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I can,
It's probably more
Okay.
likely somebody would get hurt in that scenario.
Yeah.
If they-
and
Okay.
then once it's out, if it's not damaged,
Okay, and then how do we want to handle the process of who gets what? Do we want to go on a state surplus? Do we want to handle it internally? I don't think anything's at that $5,000
mark out there. You know, per our policy, everything's gonna be under that. So
Still.
how do you guys want to handle that portion of
When
it?
we rewrote policy at the sheriff's office, it was mandated that everything went on surplus. So then it was fair and even, like Polly brought up, if we're not picking and choosing. Even if it goes for $1, it's on the surplus and is bid that way.
It's cleaner for the district.
Yeah,
think.
I don't care either way, so I just, however.
I feel like it's, the public will view that a lot better than
Okay.
just,
I think it's fair.
it is fair.
Okay, so we won't know what equipment we have available then until after it gets taken out.
Correct.
And how are we going to determine what is usable and what is not? Who's gonna be the
Does the
deciding factor on
contractor-
that?
Like, don't we have an equipment guy that worked with us, right? He's
That-
gonna be providing the new equipment, like, do they have?
They're like Berkey, they're the company.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if somebody can assess like that.
Well, I'm wondering if it's kind of like, remember the CISA guy, he came out and he's like, I don't want to see your equipment
Right, okay.
because.
I don't
Most
think
of
we can
it-
certify it by any means once
No.
it's removed,
Right,
so.
so, but who's gonna determine if a swing is bent too far to put it on public auction, or would somebody be happy to get it and try to shape it back
Possible.
up?
You never know.
I just don't know, am I gonna be responsible for this, or is someone,
You're not gonna
I-
fix it?
Well,
not the fixing part, but the determining part?
I think you leave it to the discretion of the contractor removing it, right? I mean, they're gonna know if they smash the.
Well, it's just a he's not a playground contractor, he is a general contractor.
Mhm. But I think he can determine if he smashed the crap out of a swing versus if he pulled it out, you know what I mean?
Yes, but I also see all the stuff that people try to sell and people
True.
wanna buy and whatnot, so.
I think,
Have it as a disclaimer as is.
Well,
Yeah,
we
well,
for sure
that's-
will, and
yeah.
we'll for sure have liability on it. I just, you know, if there's 10 pieces of equipment out there and I go out there and go, well, I wouldn't use any of this. Is that what, I mean,
mean,
am
I'm-
I the one that's gonna go out and look at it and then decide, or?
On the
Is everyone
surplus
gonna walk
auctions,
through?
they take a crap pile of pictures, so like,
Yeah,
I would just. If it's not mangled to pieces, put it on there, and if someone buys it for $1, congrats, they can make scrap money off of it.
yeah,
I-
exactly.
And it
That's
might
not-
be irrelevant, because the person who bid on this might say, I'm taking that with, it was part of the bid.
Mhm.
Right.
okay.
I'm just concerned with the timeline and like making sure the stuff gets picked up, and then if it doesn't get picked
I
up.
think we have plenty of room. I mean,
Well,
if
that and that closing.
we
they
can
have
get it,
a
I
week.
can't, I can't imagine that our contractor wouldn't be like, I'll use my heavy equipment, I'll just put it on the other side of the fence.
Yeah,
And then the area's all clean.
not only
Yeah,
that.
but
Or
then how
Dan's
long
got
is
the
it sitting
skid
on the
steer.
other side of the fence and?
Once the auction is closed, they have, there's usually time frame set on it,
Yeah.
so.
Right,
And
I
then
know, I
it
just,
Goes back to you guys and.
Yep.
If, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, I just worry it's gonna be an extra cost.
Chase is back in the office tomorrow, so there'll be hopefully more answers, but that at least gives us some direction that we want to put it on the state auction site.
Yeah, sure.
We want the contractor to be the one to remove it. And
Can you maybe ask Chase too, if something doesn't get removed, if they kind of have some backup, be able to get rid of it, or if that's gonna be fully on us?
I think it's all part of the right now, he's expecting to trash everything.
Dispose of all.
Yeah.
And to clarify, we're not asking him to like. Make sure he doesn't damage any
Right.
pieces.
No.
Right.
To
It was,
do what
the
he's gonna
only
do,
one was
but
the
if-
dragon that we spoke about
Yep.
getting out
Okay.
immediately. Okay,
So do we want a motion on this now or?
Do we need one?
yeah, I will make a motion that we utilize the state auction site to dispose of our playground equipment after the contractor removes it. And yeah, that's the motion.
I second it.
I would put a friendly amendment to it, providing it's not already part of the contract,
Sure.
meaning it's not figured in with the costs of them scrapping it. So,
Right. Okay.
all right. We have a motion, by Katie, seconded by Corey. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Policy 342.6. Native American policies and procedures. Let's keep on this, Tara.
Same as last time, nothing changed. It's just the formatting is different. I think Laura said she submitted them into the system today.
And this is, as a clarification, a requirement.
Yeah,
Oh.
So in order to claim impact aid, we have to, if we claim tribal land, we have to have Native American policies or procedures, or we have to get a waiver from the tribe. I'm not necessarily comfortable asking the tribe for a waiver, just because I feel like it's good to have that written down, how we're going to communicate. And the fact that tribal council changes so often that, I just don't think that would work very well. I do feel like, the whole impact aid program is maybe under a little bit more scrutiny. They've flagged us on a couple of things that have been the same, like one of them has been the same for the last 14 years. And they're like, oh, I don't like that this time. So I think they're just trying to make us jump through a couple extra hoops.
I will make a motion to accept the new policy 443.4.
I'll second it.
Oh,
No, it was
42.6. I'm sorry,
42.6.
I read the next one down. I'm sorry. 342.6.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Katie, seconded by Polly. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, policy 443.4, student alcohol and other drug abuse.
Also same as. We talked about some changes with the handbook language, but that will be.
Jamie, I'm sorry.
So same as the committee meeting.
No changes.
Just in regards to the student handbook with a addition of, I think it was nicotine.
Yeah,
But that will be June.
That'll be
Right.
a next, okay.
and it's on this one.
Yep.
But this is in the hopes of being more conducive to what other districts have done in regards to alcohol and other drug abuse such as THC, THC derivatives, nicotine and tobacco and other illegal drugs. And we'll have better outlines of the steps that are going to be taken within the student handbooks as for first offenses, second offenses, et cetera, et cetera.
I'll make a motion to approve the changes in policy 443.4 on student alcohol and other drug abuse.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Polly, seconded by Katie. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Policy 185, standing committee of the school board. Being as we are switching to the committee of the whole, we looking to remove or not, strike out some of the language that refers to the specific committees and just replace with committee of the whole at this time.
I'll make a motion to accept the language changes in C 185.
We'll second it.
Motion by Katie, seconded by Corey. Any
For
other?
the purpose of discussion, I would just add that we could please change that. I don't know who's in charge of the website. If we could just take those committees off, change it to committee of the whole.
They already are.
Oh, they weren't when I looked at it today.
Oh, well, I must have got it
Okay,
after.
so thank you.
All right, so with that, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Student accident insurance renewal 2025 to 2026.
This is the student insurance that we purchase every year. It covers the athletics.
There's no changes to it.
The price has gone down to 4,500 due to the opening or due to the enrollment numbers.
Okay. That's a good thing.
The enrollment part.
Enrollment.
Yes, and no.
Well, right.
Right.
Just for the money part of it.
Yeah.
First thing that we've heard.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the student accident insurance for 25-26.
Oh, wait, which one? We'll go
Anyone, Katie was
Jamie.
first.
Any discussion? All right, we got a motion by Katie, seconded by Jamie. To accept the student accidental insurance renewal for 2025-2026. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution authorizing officials to secure financing for the bond referendum.
Okay, so the last meeting I discussed that Shell Lake, we got a commitment letter from Shell Lake at 4.7% over 20-year amortization with a 5-year balloon. Okay, and after that meeting, I just wanted to confirm with Shell Lake statement, we are approved for that loan, so we could have made the decision tonight on that. But I don't have anything back from Bremer as yet. So what I was wondering if you guys had given me the option to look at US and Bremer, and I did get rates on them. So I have a 4.7 from Shell Lake. The last rate that I got from Bremer without turning anything in, 8.5. So they have it with their underwriters right now. We just haven't heard back. So I was just wondering, and I did work this with Baird, Debbie at Baird, to make sure it was a good option. She said it was a good option. I'd like to do the same thing with Bremer once we receive that information, hopefully by the end of the week. I guess my question to you is if it doesn't come by the end of the week, I'm asking for authority to approve one of these like you did with US Bank and Bremer, with input from Baird by the end of the week if I get information from Bremer.
I'd make a motion to give
Yeah.
Kevin the authority to make a choice between Bremer and Shell Lake Bank. Anything else that needs? to be
No,
added to that?
we need to make the decision.
I agree.
And
Cause when can we have the money?
10 days.
Hit our
And
account.
so,
Okay.
so what I've done now is for Shell Lake, since I know we're approved,
Yeah.
I did submit our policies, which she required, and I did submit the officers' names for signature, so you'll be probably required, some of you or all of you will be required to sign on closing. And then the other thing is for Homeland Security, they need Laura and my personal information, like address and things like that, just so that we're not trying to.
Is there a down payment required for the boilers? Are they asking for that to get started with
Matt
Dan?
has-
They have asked you.
I did tell them to go ahead and start ordering
Okay,
stuff, so.
all right. So they're still all good and happy.
It did get pushed back a little bit, but.
And she did talk to him after.
After Dan emailed you guys.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
second Polly's, and yeah, I mean, I'd hate to lose, I mean, I don't know that Shell Lake's going anywhere,
This is a
but
good option.
I mean, it's, I wanted you to reach out to the local banks, you reached out, but we can't give them a month to get back to us either.
Provide the financials last
So,
week and stuff, so we're just.
I mean, if they don't get
I wanna be
back
fair.
to you by, Friday, just go ahead. I mean, I think that's fine. I can't speak for all of us, but I think we're.
Can you repeat your 4.7 blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, it's a 4.7 interest rate.
Yep.
It's a 20-year amortization with a 5-year balloon.
And no.
No
prepay-
fee,
No prepay penalty and no fees to
Yeah,
get
so
the
we
loan
can
started.
prepay, we can prepay and we can refinance at 5 with the market rate, or we can shop it. We can also reduce the interest rate within the 5-year period if it goes down. I think that's like a $250 or $500 fee.
Minimum fee.
And there's no administrative fee. It was $22,000 for I think the other one we were.
Right. Yes.
So we get to use the entire loan as opposed to that.
All right, so we've got a motion by Polly, seconded by Jamie. To allow Kevin authorization to secure financing for the referendum. Pending hearing back from Bremer or by the end of the week, whichever comes first.
I'd like to just add, in conjunction with consultation from Baird, I just want you
Yeah,
to.
in
know that
conjunction
I'm
with,
above board on that, I wanna
yep.
get input.
All those in favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, point of order. I do believe since it's a resolution, it needs to be a roll call vote.
So we take the resolution.
I mean, we can take a roll call for it.
I mean, for county and the village, it's always roll call for any resolution.
I don't know if they apply for the same for schools, but
No,
if
I
you guys
don't
are
either.
comfortable for the roll call, I mean,
All right, so we can do a roll call, it's fine. Since Eric isn't here, I'll just do it. Polly,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Tom, yes. All right. Weight room, summer 2025.
so the only update I would have to this, I don't know if you write that on there. We were talking about, doing it during summer school, because I think that had been done in the past, like in the mornings.
Yeah.
I think Ryan, when I mentioned it to him,
Oh, wait.
I asked him if he had any feedback, and he said they could do it in the evenings at 5:30, 7:30.
Yeah. And that was more utilized last year than the morning.
It seemed, I think so.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly.
Is this also giving, I mean, I know this is kind of two separate things, but since we're here and summer vacations coming, is this also gonna be allowing our coaches and open gym time as well? I mean,
think
when
that's a
they
decision.
pick, I just don't, I know there was like a bounce around of potentially
Yes.
not allowing coaches
But I
in,
think
but
that's
I
a
would,
decision you need to direct.
right, and that's, I don't know if we should do it now, or if this is, that's a separate.
I mean, can you wait? Is there any need?
I guess I would like to wait to get the date.
I was just
on
focusing on the.
Okay.
weight
The
room.
roof and the boilers, yeah.
Okay, I just don't want to, I mean, personally, I don't want to close up our gyms for the kids this summer. I'd like to see if we're having the weight room open. But again, we can discuss it.
I'd
next
like to
meeting.
just get more information about the dates that we're having construction before we decide on
Okay.
if we're closing it during daytime times.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think the weight room it's already better to do it in the evenings anyway,
Mhm.
so.
I think
I'm okay
open
moving.
gyms were usually in the evening, but yeah, next month we'll discuss
Yeah,
that.
so do we need.
And we
to
gotta
bring
get a
something back
person
then, so we're clear.
What's
We
that?
need to bring something back.
Let's bring gym usage back to committee of the whole for sure. For clarification this summer.
For gym.
So
Thanks, Laura.
what about in between, because they're gonna be doing summer leagues for basketball and volleyball, and they need to practice. I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head, but I feel like it's
I think
gonna be
that's-
before the next committee meeting.
Yeah, I think it was one of the coaches, I thought they said they're planning to have like open gym Wednesday nights. Another coach, I think, has said open gyms Thursday nights.
I think if it's nights, it's not as much of an issue.
We don't anticipate the construction workers here at night. What'd she say? We don't anticipate the construction workers here at night.
Thank you.
I guess we don't know that. so-
Right, we are gonna need Dan to give a report at the next meeting to say
Did you want Karsten there too?
when yeah, if he knows all the people that will have. That want to have gym usage during the summer, whether it's Karsten or who's our facilities person now that it's not Bryn.
Dawn.
Dawn. If she knows who's trying to be in the building. And then Dan with what he knows of construction starting points. We're gonna have to mesh those schedules.
Do they need our permission? I mean, we don't usually give them permission during the school
No, but
year.
if we shut the school down and just say, nobody's coming in during these time periods.
Right, but we haven't done that.
No, that's why I think we need to know who all wants use to the gym and kind of when to see if it's all happening at the same time that the construction's happening, then we really need to be more careful. If it's not, we can just leave it.
Well, one of the reasons we weren't doing summer school that was pulled in public sessions board was that it wasn't necessarily safe.
Right,
And that's my concern is now, is it safe?
right. I guess the other
that I agree.
comment
I
with
don't-
that as well, just since we're talking about it, I do want to highlight that for now throughout June and beginning of July, when the middle school girls, I don't know what the baseball does, but when the middle school girls softball has away games, they're directed to be picked up during the day, whatever time, depending on where they're going. So let's just say 3 PM on game days that are away from the locker room. So that potentially should be something that
Yeah.
needs to be directed elsewhere.
Yeah, if they can, I mean, they can pick up out in the parking lot, they're gonna be away from the doors and the construction.
I mean, the
so-
other thing is too, maybe the girls need to know too, I don't know if they have access to the locker room. I know my daughter's been leaving her stuff in the locker room. With school still going on, more likely they won't be. They'll be bringing it when they get dropped off. But if we don't want kids in the locker room, we may need to be
Yeah.
putting that out as
Just
well.
for June, get all the usage for the summer and the contractor schedule and see what changes we need to make. But I'll make a motion that we go ahead and utilize the weight room, get someone hired for the June and July evening periods. Looks like 5:30 to 7:30 is what Karsten has picked for a time.
I'm assuming he has certain date. Is that Monday through Friday? Are we doing certain day or Monday through Thursday? Probably not Fridays.
I'm not sure what his dates were,
Tuesday through Thursday?
but he's gotta hire someone.
Okay, I'll second what Katie, yeah, a hiring or having the weight room open 5:30 to 7:30. For the
So,
summer.
we have a motion by Katie, seconded by Jamie. To have the weight room open 5:30 to 7:30 at night. On days yet to be determined of the week. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Right.
Opposed?
I,
One opposed. 4 aye, 4 in favor. All right. Meeting calendars. Committee of the whole.
Could we do it the week of the 16th, or does that work for everyone possibly? No?
Not with, it would be the 16th, but we have our other meeting the
We have a board
16th.
Training on Monday.
Bruce is coming the 16th, is he not?
The week of the 16th?
He's saying the week of, like. we can do it on
Right, yeah,
different
I
days.
don't wanna do it
Is-
too, yeah, no.
Is there? a-
Thursday, I'm out, yeah.
I would love to see this just become a regular scheduled,
Oh.
like, and maybe not yet. I get that there's definitely some trying to fit it in right now, but if we did the second Monday of the month and then the fourth Monday of the month, does that become just a more routine, regular piece for
Will
everyone to
will you
plan
guys
around?
have enough time and have our information that we need by the second, by the 9th? Cause that was the only other day, cause you can't do Wednesdays. And Tuesdays and Thursdays aren't good for me.
The whole handbook has the 1 week ready.
Go, let's go. Come on, what do you got to do? You busy?
And I get maybe.
Kids are leaving.
Maybe this isn't the appropriate time for it because obviously we're making changes. So if we need to plan it out a different day right now, but looking forward, does it feel
in the handbook.
regular?
No, no, that's too late.
So the week of the 16th, if we didn't do Monday.
We can't, well,
I can only do Tuesday that week.
The regular meeting's on the
23rd.
23rd.
You guys have to weigh in on the handbooks where you kind of think you.
I mean, I think the 16th would be ideal.
How long is the training?
we have
We have a board training.
board training,
Mhm.
Yeah.
16th. Otherwise, yeah, I would go with the committee of the whole 16th too, but we've already scheduled that.
18?
Yeah.
I cannot do the 18th.
So you can only do Tuesday.
Yeah.
You
That-
cannot
that
do
week is
Tuesday.
Not good.
You cannot do Tuesday
Not that week.
anytime.
I could do the 9th, but I don't think you guys want to do the 9th, so. And you can't do any Wednesdays.
I would, and we can't always all be, I
Right,
mean, if we
yeah.
have a quorum, we have a quorum,
Do we
so
want to move the regular meeting to the 30th at all?
I wouldn't be able to attend the 30th.
The 3rd. I don't know, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to schedule the 17th, I don't know for sure. What time did we start the committee of the whole at 4?
We did.
So potentially depending on, I don't have my game schedules. I could possibly be here an hour, hour and a half
Yeah.
on the Tuesday, the 17th. Corey, Tom, what do you guys got? It's hard to say well, Eric's gonna
Well-
probably be out on Tuesdays because of baseball. Kelly will maybe be able
We
to
don't
make
have
that.
stuff on Tuesday.
Oh, well, Juniper does. He's at Juniper game probably today.
So how many can make it on Tuesday the 17th?
I could.
We got.
I don't know,
Four.
possibly.
So we would have a quorum.
You'd have
at a minimum.
but we don't
Well, we
need a-
don't need a quorum for that meeting.
It's up to you. I mean,
No, yeah, I'm fine with you guys
Fine.
scheduling it, and if it doesn't work for me, I mean, I just feel like right now, the way we're looking at it, we're not finding a date that works for all of us sitting right here now, so. If I can make it, I can
That's
make
okay for
it.
you guys?
Yeah.
It's better than the
17th
first
would be
week,
better.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like it on the second.
Yeah. I don't think that's a work.
Good, I'll get.
Okay, we'll go with
my
17th then.
Otherwise I had every Monday.
for the committee of the whole at 4 o'clock.
At four.
On the
not five.
17th.
Yes.
Okay. Would anyone be opposed looking forward, though, if we scheduled it the second Monday and we just did 5, just like the board meeting?
Right,
Or
it's just
do
a
you-
matter of for them to have this, like, well,
I get-
I mean, where would the budget be? That's my only concern is,
Well-
will the stuff be together? They only have 2 weeks after the regular, which I would like that. I mean, I would
Or
like,
is a week enough for us? If we did it the 3rd and the 4th week, is that enough time for us to get information and do our research on things and whatnot before we come back for voting?
I kind of like that.
The 3rd and the 4th? week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I like it better than the second. and
Yeah, I do
fourth.
too.
But anyways, so monthly board meeting,
the 23rd.
Going to that? Am I going to that for
Hmm.
next month?
for July,
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
I'm doing?
Wait, what?
Do you want
She's already
to
trying to
just,
schedule
oh,
for July.
No, I'm just trying to get it in
Yeah.
my head as to what I'm putting on the agenda.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard to say with 2 people gone.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, we can
wanna-
propose it, you can, and we can discuss it next month or at the committee.
yeah, why don't we can put it on the next committee of a whole
yeah,
agenda for June to schedule for July.
discuss
Or talk about.
about appointing a specific day of the month. So in the meantime, the monthly board meeting, 23rd of June at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Any issue?
Not that I have right now, but.
Okay, all right, so the next regular school board meeting will be on the 23rd at 5 o'clock. All right,
Committee of the whole was the 17th at 4.
correct.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, approve the bills for the cycle.
Katie did.
Good,
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the bill. This billing cycle.
I'll second that.
motion by Katie, seconded by Jamie, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye,
Hi.
opposed? All right, answer board signature, that's Eric. Okay. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to convene in the closed session under Wisconsin State Statutes 19.851 C, E, F, G to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, considerations of financial, medical, social, personal information, and to confer with legal counsel who is rendering oral or written advice. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Katie, seconded by Jamie. The topics for closed session will include resignation of concessions, resignation of middle school baseball assistant coach, hiring concessions for 2025-2026 school year, all which fall under 19.851 C. And then the 5th grade teacher discussion, which falls under 19.85 C and F. There's no other discussion. Take the roll.
Yes.
Polly. Yes. Katie,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Tom, yes. We are now in close once we're secure.
Hang on just 1 second, please.